much, BK, and the current weather here in beautiful Southern California. 73 degrees, clear, and the crowd here at the StubHub Center awaits the main event for the IBF Welterweight Championship. A meeting of undefeated fighters, the champion Shawn Porter, the challenger Kell Brook. For one, the O must go. Let's go to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to bring out our fighters for the IBF Welterweight Championship of the World. First, here is the challenger and #1 ranked contender from Sheffield, England, the special one, Kell Brook.
I'm sure there were many people, including Kell Brook, who wondered if this day would ever come. The 28-year-old, 9-year professional was scheduled to challenge then IBF welterweight champion Devin Alexander 3 times, but the fight was scratched, each time due to injuries, twice to Brook, once to Alexander. Of course, his opponent tonight, Shawn Porter, took advantage of one of those times, upsetting Devin Alexander for the title. And Kell Brook comes in with a lot of cachet, a big star in his native Sheffield, having drawn capacity crowds of just over 10,000 fans. Tell us what your thoughts are on this athlete.
A long and winding road for him to get here at age 28. He's come across the pond to try and win this world title. Focus was once a problem for him after his Matthew Hatton victory. He was hailed, and rightfully so, and exalted in Sheffield, a place I've visited many times where they love Kell Brook. He lost his focus, didn't fight well against Carson Jones. He since has righted the ship, and Eddie Hearn and all his people say he is ready tonight.
And now, making his way to the ring, here is the defending welterweight champion of the world from Las Vegas and Cleveland, Showtime, Shawn Porter.
'26-year-old Showtime Shawn Porter, IBF welterweight champion, making a mandatory title defense, ranked #4 at welterweight by Ring Magazine. Since having a 10-round draw in a fight he was clearly favored to win against the past his prime Julio Diaz, he has really hit his stride, winning 4 fights in a row, including upsetting Devin Alexander for the title and coming off a victory over Paulie Malignaggi, vanquishing the former 2-division champion Daniel Jacobs. You faced Shawn Porter in the amateur ranks one more time than one of your heroes, Sugar Ray Robinson, faced Jake LaMotta. 7 times you were 6-1. Talk about his rise to championship status.
Well, his rise has been a tremendous one. You know, he's riding that confidence wave, and you know, his confidence is through the roof. You know, with those last victories he had, he knows he's champion, but he isn't satisfied with just being champion. He wants to be a superstar in the division, and he's going to have to do so tonight with a very tricky and crafty Kell Brooks.
Let's go to the tail of the tape for tonight's main event.
Well, Shawn Porter is used to being the shorter fighter in every fight, and he is tonight by 3 inches. The question will be, is Kell Brook just taller, or is he physically as strong as Porter, who's usually the strongest man in the ring? That's going to tell the story tonight.
So from the StubHub Center in Carson, California, we are set for tonight's main event for the IBF Welterweight Championship. Here once again, the always classy Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to the StubHub Center here in Carson, California, for the featured bout of the evening, brought to you by Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions, Matchroom Boxing, and Showtime. Sponsored by Corona, La Cerveza Más Fina, and AT&T, mobilizing your world. This bout is sanctioned by the IBF. President Darrell Peoples, Supervisor Aaron Kaiser, along with the California State Athletic Commission, the Chairman John Frierson, Executive Officer Andy Foster. Introducing our 3 judges scoring this main event from ringside. From Las Vegas, Nevada, Adelaide Bird. From Villa Park, California, Max DeLuca. And from London, England, Dave Paris. And our 3rd man in the ring, our referee in charge. He'll be giving instructions after the introductions, Pat Russell. All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the IBF Welterweight Championship of the World. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from the StubHub Center in Carson, California, it's showtime! Introducing to you first the challenger on my right, fighting out of the red corner, wearing red trunks with gold and blue trim, hailing from Sheffield, Yorkshire, England. He weighed in at 146 1/2 pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign in the ring with a record of 32 wins, no losses, 22 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, making his first attempt at a world title, please welcome the IBF #1 ranked welterweight contender, known as the Special One, introducing and his opponent across the ring, the defending world champion on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing red, white, and blue trunks, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, by way of Cleveland, Ohio. He weighed in at 146 3/4 pounds. He also is undefeated with a record of 24 wins, no losses, 1 draw with 15 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, making the 2nd defense of his title, here is the undefeated IBF welterweight champion of the world, introducing Showtime, Shawn Porter. And once again, a referee in charge. Now to give instructions, Pat Russell.
All right, fellas, let's go. Gentlemen, 12-round, 147-pound championship of the world. There's the line right there, right at the top. There's the line right there, right at the top of that. Touch them up. Good luck. Come out at the bell.
Tonight's event is also being broadcast on AFN, the American Forces Network. We welcome in the nearly 1 million men and women of the U.S. Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, and Marines stationed around the globe in 175 countries and on the high seas. We are so proud to have you with us. We hope you're enjoying the fights. Thank you and bless you for all that you do. The bell in round 1, scheduled for 12 for champion Shawn Porter's IBF welterweight crown. He's in the red, white, and blue. Undefeated challenger Kell Brook in the red with gold and blue.
Kell Brook likes to fight at a controlled, precise pace. There you saw the jab from him. That will be a key in keeping Shawn Porter from imposing his frenetic pace on him.
Champion and challenger are unbeaten in 57 combined fights, including Floyd Mayweather versus Canelo Alvarez last year, Ali versus Frazier in 1971, and Felix Trinidad versus Oscar De La Hoya back in 1999, a fight that took place in the welterweight division.
We talked about the refereeing in the last fight, of course, an important part of what went on. Pat Russell, many believe, will be a central figure in this as well, because Shawn Porter fights with a rough style. There's a nice counter.
Yeah, counter left hook by Brook.
That's important for him.
That is important, Alan. That's what he mentioned in the fighters meeting. He said he's gonna stand his ground. He isn't gonna let Shawn Porter push him around. He says he's just as strong as Shawn, if not stronger. So he's looking to counter shot and fight his fight at his pace.
Nice jab from Porter. We also saw a nice right uppercut by Brook, Allen. That could be key for him throughout the fight as well.
Very important weapon for him. If you can use that against the shorter Porter, it will help you.
Porter coming forward as expected. As Brook in the corner. Brook clinching, doing the veteran move and tying up the champion.
Porter wants to make you feel uncomfortable in there, and that's his mission.
Stiff jab by Porter.
Yeah, Porter using that punch a lot more early.
And again, leading with the jab, but doesn't follow up. There's a lead right hand by the champion. Oh, nice stiff right by Brook, but Porter swarming. The challengers are in close quarters, battering away at the body.
Both guys are landing their shots, the shots that they throw the most. Shawn comes in leaping with some left hooks and some jabs, and Special K has a great right hand that he's been landing all night.
Yeah, good point. They're both doing some of what they want to do early in this fight. We're getting a good feeling of what this fight's going to look like.
Yeah, Brook, composed and focused, catches the champion coming in with that left hook. He has fought in the United States once before, has Kell Brook in Atlantic City. Again, undefeated. At 32-0 with 22 wins inside the distance, the champion Porter 24-0-1 with 15 wins via form of KO or TKO as he hunts down the challenger. Final 10 seconds of the opening round. A good start here to our main event between Porter and Brook. Nice shots there by the challenger as we go to Al Bernstein's keys to victory.
Well, a big punctuation point at the end of the round for Kell Brook. And we'll look at it. The right hand of Brook is a very good punch. Started out by the jab and then lands it, and Shawn Porter gets pushed off balance there. Let's take a look at our keys to victory. Shawn Porter needs to make Brook uncomfortable. He tried in the first round. He did use his jab exceptionally well in round one and did land some overhand rights. As for Kell Brook, you see Brendan Ingle, his trainer, leaning in. Stay composed, he did that. Counter effectively did that in some instances. The right hand got in, and we saw the uppercut as part of it. He can land the straight right and the uppercut.
And there is the former IBF welterweight champion Devin Alexander, the man who was supposed to face Kell Brook on 3 different occasions. Never came to fruition. He's now ringside watching Shawn Porter, the undefeated champion, make the second defense of his title against the challenger from the United Kingdom. And Porter coming forward with the jab.
A moment ago, Brook landed a very solid counter jab. That's the punch he's going to have to maintain during the course of this fight as Porter makes those advances. Porter feels his speed is going to be too much for Brook. We'll see if that's the case.
Working the body is Porter along the ropes as they clinch. Porter introduced to boxing by his father and trainer Kenny Porter at a very young age. He was just 4 years old when he first entered a boxing gym. He was a former high school football player who weighed 165 pounds at the time out.
Yeah, amazing. And he's worked his way down, as you said, to be a welterweight. I inadvertently mentioned that Brendan Ingle, who is Dominic's dad, was a trainer of Kell Brook. They both are really, but that was Dominic leading in to talk to him.
Yeah, Porter started his career at 165.5 pounds and fought at junior middleweight for the next 14 fights. He has fought at welterweight for his 10 most recent fights and now taking the fight to the challenger, Kell Brook, keeping him at bay, Daniel, with the jab.
Yeah, well, Kell Brook is still fighting calm. He's still poised. He believes that Shawn is going to self-destruct. He's going to come in, leap in with a wide hook or something, and he's going to counter him with a straight right hand.
But a stiff jab by Brook.
I don't know if you guys seen it the last round, but those last 10 seconds, he caught him with a straight right that seems to me hurt Porter.
Yeah, I think you're right. It made an impact at least.
Another jab to the body by Brook, again remaining calm under pressure. Misses with the left hook, and the diminutive Porter going to work downstairs with body shots.
Kell Brook really trying to tie him up on the inside, and Pat Russell trying to make a good determination on when it's right to break them.
It seems as if Kell Brook has a cut on the left eyebrow.
There's a left hand by Brook, under a minute left in the second round.
And did that.
And referee just mentioned headbutt.
Yeah, okay, clash of heads, so.
And Al, I'll let you handle that one. I kind of screwed up the last time we were in the early rounds.
Nice right by Kell Brook.
And Brook working away on Porter. Porter going to the body as the chopping right hand by Brook.
Porter's going to make it rough and tough. If you're going to grab, he's going to get out that clinch. He's going to wear you out. It's best for Brook to just hold on and be calm, not try to rumble and rough with Shawn Porter.
Let those hands go.
It's a great point.
Let him go. Punch your way up.
So again, blood trickling down the left eye of Brook, the result of an accidental clash of heads, according to our referee. Final 10 seconds of the second round. Porter continues to strafe the body of the challenger.
Stop punching. Take a step. Break. Watch your head.
Sit down. You're catching him with a better shot. Don't worry about that eye. Hold that. Don't worry about that eye. You're catching him with a better shot. Keep your composure. Deep breathe. Come on. Deep breathe. You're catching him with a better shot. Close your eyes. They're accurate and they're catching him. You understand? That was an headbutt what he caught you with then. No. Right. Trust me, you're going to catch up with this kid because you're accurate punching, you understand? But he's just trying to maul and brawl you and stop your clean work.
Unintentional headbutt. Watch the heads inside. Right. Scream up a little bit, Kell.
Big deep breath. Big deep breath. Don't lead off with hooks, Kell. Don't lead off with left hooks. You've got to come everything off your jab, yeah? All right, tight. Everything tight and off your jab. Come on, slow it down and calm it down. We'll start running out of gas after 4 rounds and slow his pace down. Bit more Vaseline, Cole. Quick, please. Bit more Vaseline now. Mouthpiece, quick. Mouthpiece.
As we get set for round number 3, I want to mention the California State Athletic Commission randomly drug tested both fighters 2.5 weeks ago in Las Vegas, where Brook finished up camp at the top-ranked gym and where Porter now lives. And Al, in England, the British Boxing Board of Control randomly drug tests every fighter. I behoove the American commissions to unite and do the same.
Boy, I would agree with you 100%. And I think it's remarkable that they do that in the UK.
There's a feint by Porter, a couple of feints, and again, Daniel going downstairs to the body.
That's the key for both fighters, actually. But for Shawn, since he's a lower fighter, it's best for him to stick to the body because he's already close to there. So I think it'll be beneficial for him.
Nice right hand a moment ago by Brook. He's going to have to get off first a little bit more, I think, and not just counterpunch when Porter comes in.
Again, counter right hand by Brook as they clinch, and Porter roughing him up in the clinch.
Holding him inside. Punch inside.
Referee Pat Russell admonishing Brook for holding on the inside. Minute gone in the third.
Let him go.
And the cut has not been reopened yet. Of course, it was caused by a clash of heads, not a punch.
Dominic Ingle is the chief second and cut man for Kell Brook.
The Ingle gym, renowned in Sheffield and in Great Britain.
Nassim Hamed.
Yep, a Kid Galahad who's a super bantamweight contender in his corner. There's been many great fighters. Errol Graham from that place. Just Junior Witter, lots of champions. Kell, now the blood is flowing again.
Yeah, Brook first entered that gym at the age of 9.
Don't put that elbow.
But Brook is putting up the pace with the jab and his punch count. He's picking up the pace, and that's what I like to see from especially the guy coming into his backyard.
Brook had a limited amateur career, having his first fight in the unpaid ranks at the age of 12. Undefeated, though, as a professional, and facing the biggest and stiffest test of his career. He does hold a victory in an IBF eliminator against former WBA welterweight champ Vyacheslav Senchenko. Good exchange.
Watch the head. Let the head go. Stand behind. Free up those hands.
Of course, Senchenko, Al, we were in Manchester when he sent Ricky Hatton back into retirement.
Yeah, after a great performance by Hatton, but Senchenko knocked him down. Of course, Senchenko lost his title.
Nice stiff right hand there by Brook.
Don't hold that head. Let that head go.
These are very, in my mind, they're pretty close rounds. And you know, it's the activity of Porter against the nice power shots of Brook.
15 seconds left in the third round. Brook measuring up Porter. Porter avoiding the jab, the long jab of Kell Brook.
Stop at the bell.
Nice right hand by the champion behind the ear of Brook.
We're working. The game plan is working. It's working. What you want to do is keep feinting him up top, dig the body, get around him real quick, okay? Keep feinting him up top, dig the body. It's attrition. It's roughness on the inside.
Well, we just heard Ken Porter talking about roughness on the inside. Here's an example of some of the roughness. Porter punching on the inside and then banging heads with Kell Brook. And with all due respect, Porter kind of pushed his head forward in that instance. So you can't tell what's in someone's mind. But later in the round, that's the right hand again from Kell Brook that has landed from time to time, and a beautiful counter left hook. That's the kind of countering that Brook would like to do.
So Brook suffering his first
three. Excuse me.
Oh, sorry. Brook suffering his first cut as a professional. Neither he nor Porter have been knocked down as pros as we get set for round number 4. And Porter told us in the fighter meeting that he felt that this fight would go 4 rounds or less. He would be looking for the early knockout, Daniel.
Well, this is the round to do it if he's going to predict that. But it seems as if Kell Brook is picking up the pace. He's looking very strong. And he's landing that right hand at will almost.
There's another counter right by Brook, staying in front of the champion.
I think the big question, too, is can Brook...
Stop with his head out.
He did stun Porter once, at least momentarily. Can he land it with enough authority to keep Porter from these attacks that are sometimes effective?
Well, it's going to be hard with Porter, especially since he's coming in slipping like that. I mean, he has Mike Tyson-like moves in there, and he has great defense, but, you know, very rarely do he get hit with those 1-2s, but it's a great shot selection for Special K.
Porter very disdainful of Brook, saying, I don't really see anything special in him. Well, we'll see if he feels that way after the fight.
Stiff jab by Brook, followed up with a nice right hand. And Porter again, a whirling dervish, just going on the attack, clinching with the challenger turning the tables and pinning Porter to the ropes momentarily before referee Pat Russell intervenes.
The hard part for the judges is going to be determined what's effective punching here. You know, the attacking of Porter, counter punches by Brook. What's working? What's actually landing?
Free hands, Shawn. Don't go behind the head. Let the hands go. Stop. Let him out. Out your head.
Minute and a half left in the 4th round. Jab by Brook, offsetting the timing and rhythm of the champion, who's fainting now.
See, one thing I know about Porter is he has a great offense, a great arsenal, but if need be, he can get on the back foot and use that jab and box. He has a great arsenal, so I look forward to him using everything on his arsenal tonight.
60 seconds left in the 4th frame. Brook coming forward with a 1-2. Body work by Porter.
You know, Kell Brook averages 47 jabs a round, and he is not throwing that many tonight. He's thrown 75 so far in this fight. He might want to pick up the pace with that punch.
30 seconds left in the 4th. Show stats. A look at the jabs as Porter goes to work on the body again.
An example, not a huge edge for Brook, and I think he wants to make that a larger edge. It's an important punch run.
Nice right hand down the middle. Follow up to the jab. Basic fundamentals. Porter roughing up Brook along the ropes. And of course, as we mentioned, the champion Shawn Porter, former all-conference high school junior and senior running back and defensive back at Stowe Monroe High School in Akron, Ohio, while the 7th season of Inside the NFL kicks off Tuesday, September 2nd.
There's Keith Thurman, of course, one of the top contenders in the welterweight division. We heard from him earlier, and he's looking at this with great interest as he nurses his injury and looks to get back in action later in the year. And also Juan Manuel Marquez was here with his fighter, Daniel Estrada, very much interested in fighting the winner of this match.
5th round underway, a frenetic start. Center of the ring as Porter on the inside continues to try to punch. Referee Pat Russell breaks him up and warning Brook about holding, Daniel.
It's going to be a rough job. I mean, I don't think it's going to be as rough as the last fight was for the referee. Because Shawn, he's his own referee. He breaks his, he breaks in the clinches and he roughs you up and does what he has to do.
And you know, what's going to happen here, there's the jab.
Stiff jab, beautiful jab by Brook, but Porter's still able to muscle his way in.
It doesn't stop him, but it prevents him from throwing meaningful punches. And between the use of the head and the hitting behind the head with Porter, that's something Pat Russell's going to have to look at as well.
Well, I can tell you one thing that I'm impressed with Porter is his tempo. He's able to keep this tempo all rounds, from round 1 to round 12. I mean, he goes from 0 to 100 real quick.
For a diminutive powerhouse like Shawn Porter, conditioning is never a problem. has been spending time in a hyperbaric chamber as he launches that missile-like right
Free
hand.
right there. Watch your elbows. Free hand. Free up that hand.
By the way, that cut which is called, oh my, there's the, talk about a counter jab. This fight is now a fight that would go for the scorecards. If that cut would cause the fight to be stopped because it was a clash of heads.
Minute and a half left in the 5th frame.
Nice right hand by Porter. He is starting to pick, or by Brook, excuse me. He's starting to land some very good counter punches against Porter as he comes in.
Yeah, you're right. In between the roughness, he's slinking in those little slick shots, and it's very effective. It can be good for an investment for the later rounds.
And a very subtle change here in round 5, but we're starting to see Porter on the outside a lot more than he was earlier. We'll see if that continues.
Coming up on the final minute of the 5th round, Brook keeping Porter at bay with the jab upstairs and then to the midsection. There's another jab. There's a right hand. So the slick boxer from Sheffield, Kell Brook, staying away from the champion thus far, but now Porter closes the gap, goes to work on the body, and roughhouses on the inside.
Porter also is mixing up the jab to the body and the head, which is giving Porter some issues. Or Brook is, I'm sorry.
Let's go.
This is an important round for Kell Brook. He has stabilized this fight, I think, in many respects for himself.
Let him go. Kell, let him go. Free hand. You got a free hand punch out. Stop. Right. Step out. Take a step back.
This is a rough and tough fight.
Long distance 1-2 combination executed by the challenger Kell Brook.
Free hand, stop at the bell.
Over the top, clubbing right hand by Porter again. Leads with his hand as they clench at the bell.
Still working. We want to change it just a little bit now. I need more combinations up top, okay? Because he's grabbing you and holding you and nullifying you by holding you because you're not putting it together and going one side or the other. You keep coming in the middle with your body shots. You got to go one side or the other. You're not taking your feet around it. So now I need a combination up top.
Kell Brook would counter very effectively here. Look, that's exactly what Kell Brook hoped to do in this fight. A roundhouse left hook from Porter as he's coming in, and the jab lands. And then Brook on the attack, not counterpunching, landing those nice combinations. When Shawn Porter's at distance against this taller fighter, he has issues.
Double jab, right hand, feints and feints, put something together again, go to the bottom.
Six all the way back. Now go.
The bell in round 6. The challenger Kell Brook cut under the left eyebrow with a minute left in round 2. Ruled an accidental clash of heads. The champion Porter suffered cuts around both eyes in 4 of his 6 most recent bouts.
And Kenny Porter, the trainer of Shawn Porter, he insists him and advises him to throw more jabs and more combination. We'll see if he does it.
Yeah, great advice in the corner, really. Telling Porter not to get tied up on the inside if he can avoid it. Porter
going on the attack, emptying the fusillade to the body and just being aggressive on the inside against the taller challenger Kell Brook.
One thing you have to love about Brook is his mannerism. He has a cool, calm, and collective just tone and pace about himself, kind of like Bruce Lee, and he's waiting to unleash the dragon.
Yeah, and that's important against the Shawn Porter. The uppercut we saw him miss it a moment ago, that's one Brook's Brook's not been able to land so much, but when he's able to land that jab like that, he's effective.
Yeah, Brook very focused in the center of the ring, busy with the jab, staying at a distance, able to weather whatever storm of strikes Porter has landed, although there's Porter now with a series of left hands to the face as they are again at close quarters now. Brook has Porter along the ropes.
I think Pat Russell's going to have to talk to Porter about some of those right hands behind the head, though.
And again, a series of left hands as he holds the right, or make that the left arm of Brook, but good footwork by Kell Brook.
And then he lands a large right hand. That right hand was important because Porter was gaining a lot of momentum there. And you see the face of Shawn Porter starting to be marked up a little bit from some of these punches.
Again, Daniel Brook really finding a home on the champion's face with that jab.
That jab has been tremendous. He's been picking up the pace each and every round. But I tell you, man, it's really hard to fight a guy like Porter. He's rough and he's rugged, and he'll make you feel. I'm telling you, the next day, both of these guys are going to be sore.
Yeah, you know what it feels like to be with Shawn Porter, and he is a strong man in that ring.
Now Porter utilizing some footwork again, going to the body, making that investment, hoping that it pays dividends down the stretch.
The question for Porter at this juncture is he's lunging a lot. You can see the effects of some of those counter punches on his face. He is not fighting at the pace, I think, exactly the pace he wants.
And now he is cut around the right eye. We just mentioned the fact that he'd been cut in 4 of his last 6 fights, so both of them are now bleeding.
And we don't know if that came from a punch or a clash of heads. We'll find out, but that could have a big impact on his fight. It doesn't look like a very good cut.
And it talks to his style, his form of aggression. 10 seconds left in the first half of this championship bout.
Up the bell.
Philly shelled there momentarily by Porter.
Boxing was good. The boxing was good. We want to keep boxing, okay? Keep boxing. Keep the hands up. Get to the body. Rough him up when he's trying to hold you. Slide away.
Unintentional headbutt.
It's good. Slide away, okay?
Okay, good.
All right? Slide away from him before he can grab you, all right? This is what warriors do.
Well, earlier in the fight, a clash of heads caused a cut with Kell Brooks. Here, the cut is caused, or it happens on the right eye of Porter. And Porter pulled him in, so Porter kind of created that action. He got the worst of it. And so now, if either of those cuts would cause a stoppage of this fight, if either of those would cause the closing of this fight, they would go to the scorecards.
Brook was cut with a minute left in round 2. Porter cut under the right eyebrow with 40 seconds left in round 6. The same place he was cut against Devin Alexander.
All right, here we go. Let those hands go. Let them go. Step out. Both of you. Break. Break.
Now Porter's cut, though, happened before the 4th round.
Great body shot, as we just seen from Shawn Porter. He's been investing a lot of hard shots in his body shot, but once again, he needs to be aware of that 1-2.
Plenty of aggression here from Porter again, going to the body.
You got a free hand. Punch your way out. You don't need me if you got a free hand. Stop punching. Stop. Break. Take a step.
All right, the midway point. Let's go to our unofficial score, Steve Farhood.
Mo, it's very important that judges differentiate between aggressiveness and effective aggressiveness. Porter hasn't been that effective. This is why, because Brook keeps holding him. With the exception of that 6th round, Brook has negated Porter's aggressiveness. I've given Brook 4 of the first 6.
Second half of this championship bout underway. Minute 45 left in round 7.
Steve's point is so salient. The question is, will they be able to? Now, there's a nice jab against stopping Porter. Who will they view as the most effective fighter in terms of the aggressiveness of Porter or those Brook counter punches? And now this fight's being fought a little more at long range, which is difficult for Shawn Porter.
Step back. Don't lean in with your head. Don't lean in with your head.
Right hand to the body by Porter coming over top as Brook clinches, breaks them apart.
It's becoming easier now for Kell Brook to push Porter off without having to hold him.
Lead straight right by the challenger. Coming up on the final 60 seconds of the 7th.
Close round, though.
Very close round. It's going to come to the final seconds of who won it actually more.
Free up those hands. Let them go. Punch your way out, Kell. Got a free hand. Let him go, Shawn. Let him go.
Gotta love this referee. He's allowing these guys to fight it out, to duke it out, and get it all by themselves.
Right hand clips Shawn Porter. Now Porter back on the attack. Brook trying to smother that attack, Daniel.
He is. It's a good technique from Brook. He needs to continue to do that, but he also needs a counter shot because he can't just block the whole
nice
fight.
counter right uppercut by Brook, who now goes on the attack in the latter stages of the 7th round. And there's that uppercut by Kell Brook. He was clipped by the left hook of Porter. Good action in this round.
The punching combination. Don't throw wild hard punches, okay? Resist that. You're coming off your feet with a wild hard punch and you're out of position. Okay? Swelling's good. We're good.
How's it look, Mike? We're good. We're not even bleeding. Okay, good. How we doing, Joe?
Double jab.
Great.
Do some things and use the double jab. Then go one side or the other, okay? If you throw the double in right, go right.
Kell Brook working on the inside. You'll see him use a 3-punch combination. That's the uppercut, a very important punch for him, the left hook and the straight right. And that was toward the end of the round. That stunned Shawn Porter. And even from the inside posture, Kell Brook is capable of doing good work. So this is an intriguing matchup as we continue.
Champion Shawn Porter in the red, white, and blue. The challenger, Kell Brook, in the red with gold and blue. Mauro Ranallo along with Al Bernstein. Daniel Jacobs ringside. The three most noteworthy British welterweight champions, Ted Kid Lewis, Lloyd Huntington, and Ricky Hatton, all won their titles on USA soil. Brook looking to do the same.
And so far, Kell Brook has comported himself quite well in that ring, whether he's winning or losing or it's a draw. He came across the pond and he's showing people here why he's a top welterweight.
Counter left uppercut by the champion Porter.
I must say, I'm very impressed with the strength of Kell Brook. I didn't think he was going to be as strong as Shawn Porter, but he's holding his ground, he's punching, and he's punching with him. So it's very impressive.
Left hook on the inside by Porter, then hits after referee Pat Russell giving him a stern look, saying, hey, call for the break, don't punch. There's a chopping right cross by Brook.
All right, both of you hold it, don't punch. Stop, break, let's go. Now go.
Porter is really using all of this ring and fighting mostly from the outside. There he walks into another jab.
Free him up, Shawn, free him up. Let that hand go, step out.
Another 3-punch combination by Brook, a minute and a half left in the 8th. Another good combination by Brook.
Let him go, Kell.
But now Porter is doing more of the holding on the inside, trying to stop the attack of Brook.
Those straight 1-2s are like sniper-like. He's getting them in there, and I don't think Shawn has the answer for him.
There's a lot of punching behind the head, and most of it's being done by Porter. I really do believe Pat Russell should at least warn him for that.
The bigger Brook turning the tables on Porter. Referee Russell calls for the break. 45 seconds left in the 8th round. Stiff jab by Brook as Porter navigates his way to the inside and clinches.
Just a little bit steam coming off the punches of Porter. He's not looking as strong as he used to.
Pushing some of his punches a little bit right now.
Indeed.
Working the body is Shawn Porter. 15 seconds left in the round. Brook blocking.
I gotta stop. Step out.
Interesting round, and one that I think Kell Brook probably should have won. We'll see how the judges feel about it.
Break, step.
Okay? And then take a step to either side when you finish, all right? All right? So we don't tie you up. Stay again. Double jab, step either way. You throw the right hand behind the double jab, throw it straight, and go one side or the other.
In the last round, the jab of Brook setting up the 1-2 that Daniel talked about, and then they get on the inside and there's some holding and mauling, but Brook has used his jab. He actually had a very good round in the last round, and the double jab then sets up yet another right hand. This is precisely what he had on the drawing board in this fight.
Kell Brook coming from Sheffield, England to vie for Shawn Porter's IBF Welterweight Championship. He and his camp lobbying to get Dave Paris from the UK to replace American judge Steve Morrow, who has judged multiple Porter fights. There's a stiff left hook by the challenger to kick off round 9.
All right, there we go. Now we got Roholden.
And Adelaide Bird, who had judged the Franz Kessler fight, was okay for Eddie Hearn and his matchroom boxing folk, and in Brook's camp. So we'll see how it all plays out with the judges.
Fainting here in the first 30 seconds as they again come to close quarters. Porter now living and training in Vegas since the rematch with Julio Diaz. But he's still stoked about Johnny Football and LeBron James in Cleveland.
He is a fan. And many great fighters have come from that area. Fighters like Ray Mancini, Harry Arroyo, Annie Cobain, many.
You know, I would hate to be a judge in this fight because
I agree.
You know, Brook is landing it seems to be the more clearer and effective shots, but it's Shawn Porter's just overall output and aggression that he's landing. It'll be very hard to score some of these close rounds.
Yeah, I agree. And Porter has thrown over 120 more punches.
Double jab by Brook before they clinched. Porter working the body, roughing up the challenger.
A lot of blood coming from the right eye of Porter, and again, there's a nice short left hook.
Yeah, short left hook by the challenger, Brook.
In my opinion, if you really pay attention to what's landing, I have to say, I think Kell Brook is the sharper in there in terms of what's landing.
And look at the numbers, very close, Al.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I might even disagree with that a little bit, our show stat numbers, because I think that the precise punching of Brook has been a little better.
Again, just a barometer.
It is a barometer of what's happening, yes.
All right. Whoa, let his head out. Don't push down on that head. You got to pick your head up, too.
Brook switching to lefty for the first time in this fight.
Don't do that. Thank you. Nope.
Under a minute remaining in the 9th round. Brook backing up, resetting. Porter lunges forward with the jab that misses.
And see, Brook hits it with a short jab when he comes in. That's the small detail work that
double jab, right hand, fluid combination by the challenger, now roughed up in the corner, and Porter now going to work on Brook. A lot of these punches are being smothered, Daniel.
Yeah, it is. It seems as if he's just relaxing, he's breathing, and he's waiting for the right opportunity to hit Porter coming in.
And countering very effectively is the challenger.
Yes, he is.
There's a stiff jab that stops the footwork of Porter in his tracks.
Let him go, Kell. Let him go. Let him go, Shawn. Stop. Break. Take a step
Last few rounds, I think this fight has taken a turn. We'll see how well Shawn Porter can close.
Free up those hands. Punch your way out.
We are through 9 rounds of this IBF Welterweight Championship bout in Carson, California.
Time. No punching.
Breath. Take a deep one. We know what kind of shape we're in. We're in unbelievable condition. I need you to keep them hands up when you're on the outside. Pair the shot off. Shoot back with a counter, okay?
But they're both doing it. Yeah, but they're both doing it. Okay.
Shoot back with a counter, okay? Keep it clean.
Kell Brook continuing to use the jab as a rangefinder and more than that, but it leads to this straight right hand from the outside. We've seen this repeated, and he doesn't stop. He keeps throwing the jab and the straight right hand, pushing Porter back. And that's a scene, as you said, that we've seen repeated. There's Dominic Ingle.
That's all he's doing. Yeah, come on. 3 rounds. 3 rounds.
The bell goes to begin round number 10. Undefeated challenger Kell Brook looking to join super middleweight Carl Froch, super bantamweight Scott Quigg, and bantamweight Jamie McDonald as current British boxing champions. Of course, Porter wants to remain one of 15 American champions. Anthony Durrell joining that total in our last fight.
And you know, the Dominic Ingle fighters and Brendan Ingle fighters like Junior Witter and Nassim Hamed, Kid Galahad, they all switch back and forth lefty and righty a lot. Brook is one of the few in that stable that fights a conventional style, even though we saw him move to lefty briefly in the last round.
We're holding him, Kell. Let him go.
All right, let's bring in our unofficial scorer, Steve Farhood. Steve, tell us about your numbers.
Well, I see the last couple of rounds, especially Porter, very aggressive, moving his hands, very little effective punching. All fight long, the cleaner shots have been landed by the British challenger.
Hard to argue that
Watch
point
your
as
head. Don't head. Don't
kind of
hold that
like
head. Break, step out.
threading the needle as Brook, while weathering the storm, the attack. There's a nice short left hook as Porter came in again by Brook.
The geography of this fight has changed. Porter is on the outside a lot more now. And when he's on the inside, he's not throwing punches as much.
Yeah, it almost seems as if he ran into a wall, like he can't figure it out anymore. The power punches is lessening, and it seems as if Special K is getting stronger. It just goes to show you to be poised and to pace yourself, and that's just some of the things that you have to learn as a fighter and a champion.
Free up those hands. Don't need me.
But Shawn is definitely showing tremendous heart. And it seems as if he's in tip-top shape, but he goes through these little lapses here and there.
Good instructions from referee Russell. You don't need me to break it up. Just break it up on your own.
You know, Brook is 3-0 in 12-round fights. Porter has been 12 rounds in 4 of his last 5. Of course, he's undefeated in 12. Well, he's actually had a draw in 12 rounds against Julio Diaz, which many people believe Diaz won.
Different stance employed there, Daniel, by the champion.
Let him go. Stop.
Get a little tricky in there. I mean, he has to make it work. He has to adjust. Whatever works for him, and that's what he's looking for.
Porter feinting, and as Brook comes in, Porter attacks the body under 30 seconds left in the 10th round.
See, in these sequences, not a lot of activity from Shawn Porter. He's content to let the action play itself out.
Free hands, let him go.
There's again that short left hook by Brook. Porter going to work on the body. Final seconds of a rough and tumble 10th round. We're headed to the championship rounds in Cali. And a good shot there by Porter.
So, Kell Brook has come across the pond and performed exceptionally well so far in this fight, and we look back at some of his good work. The jab has been a staple, and the straight right hand, of course, also. Lead right hands have gotten in for him. When he keeps his punches straight and when he counters like that, Brook has been very, very effective. And, you know, Shawn Porter has certainly had his share of aggression in this fight, but these shots are indicative of the cleaner shots that have been landing for Kell Brooks for the most part. And we'll see if that resonates with the judges.
You're going to have to start dipping down into body, Kell. Right? Trying to keep it beautiful, beautiful. Right? 2 rounds, you can win this. This time because there's nothing in it. There's nothing in it. But don't get caught with stupid shots. Are you listening?
Keith Thurman may face the winner of this fight. One time nursing a shoulder injury, looking to return later this year. As we begin the championship rounds, round number 11. And so far, Kell Brook acquitting himself well, having one of the longest camps of his career as Porter goes on the attack again. When all was said and done, he's been in training camp for this fight for 16 weeks, says Kell Brook.
A long time.
And there's a nice 4-punch combination by Brook as Porter using some head movement.
Dominic Ingle making the point to Kell Brook. You can win this. You are in the hunt here. And wanting his man to close strong.
Counter right hand by Brook.
And on foreign soil, you better close strong.
Yeah, absolutely. He understands the situation at hand. He understands that he has to take it from the champion. And if he's going to do that, he has to do it in a spectacular form.
Our unofficial score, Steve Farhood gave the last round to the champion. But it's still a 2-point edge on his unofficial scorecard for the challenger, Kell Brook. They're chopping right over the top by Porter.
Porter's landed some more effective punches toward the end of last round and this round. I honestly thought Brook did better in the last round than Porter. But Porter has started to get a couple of power punches in.
All right.
There's the overhand. The overhand right for Porter has not been great. It's mostly landed behind the head. And I put that in the keys to victory. I thought that was going to be an important weapon for him.
Bring him up. Stop. Right. Let's go.
90 seconds remaining in the 11th round. Brook walking down the champion. Takes a step back, lands the 1-2, Daniel.
Porter's always going to remain dangerous.
We got the free hands.
His movement has been tremendous, even in the 11th round. All this work these guys are putting in, they're still working hard, and they're still giving it their all.
Conditioning has not been a factor thus far.
Absolutely not.
Great shape here is what it's been again, an aggressive, rough on the inside. There's the jab from Brook as they clinch again. A minute remaining in the 11th. Bobbing and weaving was Porter before coming in the inside. Oh, there's a nice sweeping left hook by Brook.
He stopped to comment to Shawn Porter about the 5-minute punch.
Oh, and a right cross clips the jaw of the champion by Brook. Brook doing a good job of landing his shots here in round 11.
Free hands, I got it. Stop, man. Stop. Take a break. Step. Now go.
Feinting by Porter before he comes in. But again, not throwing any punches, Daniel.
Not throwing any punches. He needs to pick up the count.
Let him go.
The Special K is closing the corners. It's cutting it close.
We are headed to the 12th and final round with the IBF welterweight title at stake.
Now, while Kell Brook has done some very good and precise work in this fight, we are not suggesting that Shawn Porter hasn't had his moments when he has attacked, and especially to the body. And we look at an inside the ropes showing some of the work he has done. Excellent left hook downstairs. And when he's on the inside, he's been able to land some punches like the short left hook and doubling with that punch and let me say tripling with that punch. And, you know, he has worked downstairs very effectively. That's a terrific left hook downstairs. And so we have seen Shawn Porter do some good work in this fight. There's no question about that. The question will be, are those attacks the ones that will work in the judges' minds?
In and out, get around it, okay?
And are body shots more landed by Shawn Porter? That's where he has directed his attack.
Porter's gone the distance in 4 of his last 5 outings. Brook coming off a TKO win and a tune-up to prepare him for this, his first shot at a championship. It comes down to the final 3 minutes. Undefeated champion Shawn Porter, undefeated challenger Kell Brook. And they immediately clinch with Porter attacking the body, now feinting. Brook lands the jab and blocks those shots.
Let his head out, let it out, let it out. Don't punch, break, take a step.
Both guys seemed a sense of urgency when they stepped out. I don't know if they believe that this last round could be the deciding factor in the fight, but I know it's a very close fight out.
And Steve Farhood shows us his unofficial scoring.
Beautiful 1-2 combination there by Brook through the guard of Porter.
And I tend to agree with Steve. I think Brook has opened a little bit of a gap, though you're right, Daniel. It's not some runaway fight either way for either fighter.
Lunging forward is the champion. Porter attacking the body. At close quarters, Brook just wants to smother his offense. Trying to back up now in along the ropes. Has the front face lock on the champion. Does the challenger Kell Brook. Minute 45 left in the fight. Brook measuring up there. Launches the jab. Attacking the body. Counter right hand by Porter.
The lateral movement of Brook has been just enough to keep Porter off balance, and he has countered enough while doing it to keep him off balance.
Free hands, go ahead. Free hands, you don't need me. Stop, break, you
Kell
don't need
Brook
me.
was adamant, and so was Eddie Hearn, who was with him, that he was not going to be the less strong fighter in there. That when they were on the inside, he was going to be able to hold his own physically with Porter, and he has been.
Good combination by Brook on the break, attacking the body now as he leans on the champion. We are coming up on the final minute of this title attraction with Shawn Porter's IBF welterweight title up for grabs. The undefeated champion upset Devin Alexander before vanquishing Paulie Malignaggi, and they now exchange as he puts the title on the line against the challenger from the United Kingdom, Kell Brook.
Could this fight be on the line here in this last 45 seconds? How close do the judges have it? Shawn Porter's being very aggressive here in round 12. Is it enough to win him the round, and would that be enough to get him the fight?
let's go. Out.
With 20 seconds left, it looks more and more likely that it's going to come down to the 3 judges at ringside to determine the victor. Who will walk away with the IBF Welterweight Championship? Will it be the champion Porter, or will it be the challenger Brook, who's on the attack in the final seconds of the fight? Daniel, your thoughts?
It's a very interesting fight, very brutal, very strong, very aggressive by both fighters. It'll be interesting to see how the judges score this fight, but I don't even know who to give the fight to. That's how close it was, in my opinion.
I think it was a very close fight, but I think that Kell Brook at the end of the day probably did the sharper work, and we'll see how the judges look at it. Both men cut. Had they stopped this fight from either cut, it would have gone to the scorecards. We're happy it didn't end up that way. Final numbers of show stats demonstrate, that it was a fairly close fight. And Porter was more active, and we kind of expected that, and that could help him at the end of the day, because he did throw a lot of punches, especially on the inside, once he made those initial attacks. And I don't think Brook landed quite as many jabs as he wanted to. That was very effective.
Keith Thurman watching with vested interest, wondering what the outcome of this fight will be. The biggest wins a Brit has ever scored in the USA. Lloyd Hunnigan's upset of welterweight king Donald Curry in '86. Lennox Lewis over Mike Tyson in 2002. Evander Holyfield in 1999. Now Kell Brook looks to take the belt back to Britain, or will it stay in America around the waist of Showtime Shawn Porter?
This fight was, I think, a lot of what we expected it to be. The counterpunching of Brook, the attacks of Shawn Porter, and I think when you look at the face of Shawn Porter, you understand that win, lose, or draw, this was not quite the effort that he wanted in terms of being consistent in his attack.
That's very true. But nonetheless, he did show the heart of a champion. He gave it all every round.
Yes, you would expect nothing less from Shawn Porter.
Kudos to both men.
Here with the announcement of who is going to leave Stump Up Center with the IBF welterweight title, let's go to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards. Judge at ringside, Dave Paris scores them out 114 to 114, even a draw. Overruled by judges Max DeLuca, he scores the bout 117 to 111. And Adelaide Bird, who scores the bout 116 to 112 in favor of the winner by majority decision. And the new IBF welterweight champion of the world, the special one,
the special one enjoying this very special moment. Kell Brook had to wait a long time, an interminable wait, for his shot at a championship, and he will head back to the United Kingdom, the IBF welterweight champion. And Al, you mentioned it off the air here, the 114 score was turned in by the British judge.
Yeah, ironic. He had it a draw, and the two American judges had it by a fairly wide margin for Kell Brook.
Shawn Porter tastes defeat for the first time, but Kell Brook improves to 33-0, going 12 hard rounds to capture the IBF welterweight championship. Daniel, your thoughts?
Very tough competitors, very tough fight. Hard to judge for myself, but the better man won tonight with the more cleaner, effective shots, and he's going to take this sweet victory back home.
And it was all about this man keeping his composure, his demeanor, which we saw even at the end. Instead of jumping around and celebrating, he was just very calm. That was what kept him in this fight.
Let's go to Jim Gray, who's standing by with the new champion.
All right, Mo, thank you very much. Kell, congratulations to you. You came overseas, won this championship. What does this moment mean to you?
You can tell this with my face how much it means to me. 20 years, me, the little boy, 9-year-old, dreaming to be a world champion, and I'm the champion of the world. It's unbelievable.
What was the difference in this fight, in your estimation? He was so aggressive and just kept boring in all night.
To be honest with you, it might have looked a bit scrappy, you know, but I did what I had to do with him because he's low, you know, he dips underneath, you know, it's scrappy. And if it didn't come across slick like I'm normally a slick fighter, it might have been scrappy at times, but I'm the champ, baby.
You got the cut in the second round, yet it was cleaned up pretty well. It didn't seem to bother you the rest of the way.
No, it didn't bother me at all, you know what I mean? I kept calm, listened to me corner, did what I needed to do tonight, you know, come over. No one's done it since Lloyd Dunnigan from England, 28 years. And here I have, I've travelled the underdog, you know, and I've come here and took it off him in his backyard.
Kell, how did you manage to stay so composed and calm and patient?
I was born to do this, you know. I always find a way, I always deliver. You know, the better the opposition, the better I am. You're going to see me in some mega fights, mega fights. I'm the world champion now, everyone will want to fight me. You know what I mean? I'm not shouting anyone out, but Keith Thurman, you know, and Floyd Mayweather, all the top fighters, you know, are probably watching this fight now, and, you know, I'll welcome them fights.
Kell, how did you manage to overcome all the injuries, everything that has gone on, and to still maintain your equilibrium and get to this point to get a championship fight?
Everything, you know, meant for a reason. It's been a long time coming now, but it's been worth it, let me tell you. This feeling, you know, the way away from me, little girl and my wife, you know, for weeks on end, you know, going away training, up in the morning when it's cold, training hard, going to bed early, sacrificing. For this moment now, it's worth it 10 times over.
Do you know at what point in this fight that you felt confident that you were landing the cleaner shots?
You know, it was tough all along, but, you know, he's a very, very tough customer. You know, everyone looked up past Shawn Porter, but he showed he's a true champion, a warrior. You know, we both got cuts, we both dig in, but, you know, I was a better man tonight.
So Keith Thurman you would like next. What about Amir Khan? You said in the pre-fight meeting that you'd like to fight Amir Khan. You think maybe 80,000 people at Wembley.
I think Amir Khan can get in the queue now. You know, I'm top dog in England. Everyone knows that. You know, everyone wrote me off at home. I want so much respect, and I hope I get so much respect. So I've come here. Everyone thought I'd get knocked out by Shawn Porter. You know what I mean? I come over here and I beat him.
All right. Congratulations, Kell. Terrific performance. Shawn, how would you assess what happened here this evening?
Too much went on tonight for me to give my final conclusion. I will say that I think I'm still the champion. I fought like a champion, and I don't think he beat the champion tonight. But with that being said, now I'm 24-1, and I got to go back to the drawing board. Team Porter, we're here, we're still here. We did everything we always do, and we're going to continue to do everything we always do the Porter way.
Shawn, you were quite aggressive tonight in your attack, but do you feel you were effective?
Yeah, I thought I was effective with my attack. He was ready for my attack, and he did hold a substantial amount tonight throughout the rounds. Giving no excuses at this point. He took my belt tonight. I want the rematch. I'll go find him wherever he is next week and take it from him.
At any point in this fight, did you feel that you would have to get desperate and connect?
No. There were points in the fight where I did see it, and I knew that I wouldn't be able to connect with some of the punches that I threw tonight. I knew it. Mistake on my behalf. That's why we work hard in the gym, and tonight we didn't get it all right, but we will come back and get it all right next time.
And what will you do to try and get it right? Where do you have to improve?
You know what? At this point, I am still the fighter. I don't make any of the business decisions. I'm going to leave here with a smile on my face, continue to smile like I always do, continue to do things like the Porters do it, the Porter way, and we'll come back stronger and we'll win the next one.
How much did your cut in the 6th round, the accidental headbutt, affect you in the fight going forward? There seemed to be a lot of blood coming out.
Yeah, you know what? I honestly don't know. I ignore all that stuff. I do what I'm supposed to do. I do my job. And again, like I said, just this one, I guess, was too close to call for the judges. We didn't see it that way, but we are going to move on.
Shawn, thank you. Appreciate it.
God bless you. Thank you.
All right. Mo, back to you at ringside.
All right, Jim, very gracious and tasting defeat for the first time is Shawn Porter. Meanwhile, I'm sure we can hear the celebration from here in the UK as we bring in Steve Farrett, our unofficial scorer. And Steve, let's look at the way the judges at ringside scored this fight.
Well, you and Almo already made reference to the fact that the one British judge is the judge who had it even. That's fascinating in itself. But Basically, there were only 5 unanimous rounds from the 3 judges on the cards, and I think that speaks to how difficult a fight this was to score. For instance, Adelaide Bird scored the last 2 rounds for Kell Brook. Dave Parris scored the last 2 rounds for Shawn Porter. On my card, I had Brook barely ahead. Interesting point, the referee, Pat Russell, who is not a heavy-handed ref, did not warn or take points away from Brook for what at times I thought was excessive holding. That could have made a big difference on the cards with a different referee.
Great job as always, Steve. We appreciate your input. Final comments, Al, beginning with you.
You know, I always thought Kell Brook was going to be a handful for anyone he faced in a world championship. Beautiful, tender moment for him right there. And he did exactly what he wanted to do in this fight. Clearly, I think it was a close fight. Shawn Porter did comport himself well, but this man shows that he is a world-class fighter.
And for me, you know, it's very hard to judge this fight. But Special K, he came in there and did what he had to do. I'm very proud of him. I'm very happy of him. And now he can go home and celebrate this victory with his special family.
The cradle of boxing Great Britain has produced another champion. His name is Kell Brook, and here to put a bow on the proceedings is Brian Kenny.